Hello Virgo, and welcome to your new moon lunar insight video for the new moon today in Gemini on the 13th of June and culminating with the new moon solar eclipse in Cancer on the 13th of July. So today's new moon falls in your 10th house of career, of purpose, of ambition. So this is a time for you to set your intentions around what you wish to call forward in your career. This is a time for you to speak and sing the words that will bring into being the energies that you would truly like to express through your offerings to the world. So this is particularly powerful if you work in some kind of communication, which is quite likely, you being the other Mercury ruled sign. So if you are a writer, a teacher, a speaker, a singer, a communicator, perhaps you work with technology of some kind, this is an optimum time for you to really rebirth yourself in those areas. After all the changes we've been going through cosmically, people are, collectively we are in this space somewhere between the old and the new. The old things don't really resonate with us anymore, so we are all stepping into a new frequency, somewhere we've never been before. So this Gemini moon, Virgo, gives you the opportunity to call forth that new light, that new life into your career. Mercury, the ruler of this lunation and your ruler, will be in the sign of Cancer in your 11th house. So this is a time where you can have deep soul connections with your soul tribe. This is a time where you can really open your heart and speak your truth. With Mercury squaring Chiron in your 8th house, Chiron the wounded healer, there is a possibility that you can activate some deep cellular soul level healing during this new moon as you share your pain, you share your feelings, you share those truths that have been stuck down with those that you love and trust the most. So this is a prime opportunity for you to kind of dive into your psyche and uncover and speak and share about the things that you feel are weighing heavily on your heart at this time, Virgo. Venus is going to be moving through your 12th house in the sign of Leo. So this can really activate some unconscious desires in you, Virgo. You might feel yourself, desiring new things, things that you thought were buried, desires that you thought you had let go of can come back, can burst back into flames at this time, things that are hidden in your subconscious, memories. Perhaps there are some old loose ends around love and relationships that need to be tied up. Perhaps there are some old patterns and thoughts around yourself and how you value and honor yourself that need to be looked at. As Uranus squares Venus from your 9th house, you may also find that a lot of your spiritual beliefs and ideals are starting to need reworking. Some of those things that you've really thought were true, those values that you've really held dear for most of your life, will now come up to be questioned, will now come up to be transmuted, transformed and changed so that you can move forward with deeper meaning and deeper clarity. On the 17th of June, Neptune is going to station retrograde in your 7th house of partnership. Now, Neptune's been here for a long time already, Virgo, and if your Virgo planets or Virgo angles are between 13 and 16 degrees at this time, you're having a Neptune transit. So this energy that I'm about to describe will be extra amplified for you. So Neptune in the 12th house, in the 7th house, can really cloud and fog up our perceptions around partnerships. So wherever Neptune is, we tend to see through rose-tinted glasses. We tend to see the divine potential in the other person. And Virgo, for you being such a service-orientated sign, in a similar way to Pisces and Neptune energy, sometimes you can be a bit of an overgiver in your partnerships. You can be a little bit like a psychic sponge, absorbing all of the suffering from the world around you and wanting to help and heal everybody, and this transit can amplify that. So it's really important around this time you become very strong, very aware in your boundaries and what is and isn't acceptable. Around this time there can be some revelations about your partnerships, you know, about the truth of the connections, romantically and otherwise, that you are involved in. So just be open, Virgo, to seeing the truth, to seeing the true reality of the partnerships, of the friendships, of the connections that you are currently engaged in, as Neptune stations here for a few days around the 17th of June. So on the 19th, Venus in your 12th house, as I mentioned earlier, is going to oppose Mars in the 6th, and they're going to be conjunct the nodes. So this is a point in time where we can have a powerful foreshadowing of the work that we will be doing with Mars retrograde when he officially stations around the 25th of June. So this is a time for you where you can be looking at those subconscious self-sabotaging beliefs that hold you back in your relationships. You can be looking again at this tendency to self-sacrifice and overgive, which will be very much highlighted during the summer months. On the 21st of June, the Sun's going to join Mercury in your 11th house. So this is a time of discovering nourishment and healing through your friendships, connecting with your soul tribe, allowing yourself to be loved and nurtured and supported by those who matter to you. This is a time of human connection, of really recognizing the value of the friendships, of the circles that you're in and how they nourish you, or perhaps, you know, this might highlight how they are not nourishing you and what needs to be reworked or let go of, which will be a huge collective theme over the summer, as well as Mars retrogrades in Aquarius, the sign of friendship and connection. So just be very aware of how balanced your relationships are at this time, Virgo, on all levels: friendship, romantic, business partnership, work life. And this could also be potentially a time where you can make some connections that help you to move forward with your bigger dreams and goals. So it's about using your intuition and choosing which ones are truly supportive, which ones are genuine, and which ones are coming from a space of need, which ones are not truly authentic. And this can also be a time for you to witness where you are overgiving your time and energy as a way of receiving approval from other people, Virgo. So Mars will officially station retrograde on the 25th, and he's going to be spending most of the summer in your 6th house. The 6th house is the house that is ruled over by Virgo traditionally, and it is the house of health, of healing, of purification. And it's also the house that relates to our daily structures, our daily routines, and our work life. And so this energy can be causing you to want to start a revolution in all of these areas. You know, perhaps there will be some changes that you need to make to liberate yourself from old patterns that are not healthy, that are not serving you mentally, physically, emotionally and spiritually. There will be a need for detoxification of the body, mind and soul. And as you detoxify and declutter your life on all levels, you will free yourself up to follow the callings of your soul. So this is a time when the very foundations of your life will need to be reworked in order for you to move forward. This is the house that deals with organization, that deals with focus, something that you are already very skilled at, Virgo. But perhaps there are some changes, some tweaks that need to be made so that your life can work more fluidly. And a lot of you, Virgo, are drawn to holistic professions, are drawn to service work, are drawn to healing. So this can be a time where you're having to put more effort into these activities as well. You know, perhaps your workload becomes busier, perhaps you're learning a new skill, perhaps you feel weighed down by all that you have been giving and all the service work that you've been doing, and now you need to use the Aquarian energy to create some more freedom in your life. So this is a multi-level transit, and during this period we can also feel like our nervous system is electrified. And you know, you are already Mercury ruled, Virgo, and one of the signs that is most prone to suffering with anxiety because of your desires for perfection. So it's extra important at this time to practice good mental health care as well, to practice, you know, surrender, to practice meditation, to practice nourishing yourself with healthy foods, healthy beverages that support and feed the nervous system, rather than allowing yourself to become overwhelmed and overloaded. So that's an energy that's going to be with you for the next 2 months, and Mars will be retrograde here, you know, really placing a deep focus and amplifying these energies. So be sure to take good care of yourselves. On the 28th of June, we will be having a Capricorn full moon conjunct Saturn, and Saturn moved into the 5th house of your birth chart on the 21st of December last year. And there he has been teaching you lessons of self-love, of creative self-expression, of knowing that what you have to offer the world is good enough. And the full moon here will amplify that. He is going to reveal how far you have come learning the lessons of Saturn in the 5th house. So just how deeply are you loving yourself, Virgo? You know, even with Neptune in your 7th house and the energies that are moving through your 11th house, you might be receiving love from other people, but that's not going to liberate you from the job of really loving yourself. And you are one of the signs that can be very, very hard, very, very self-critical about yourself. So this is a time of seeing how far you have come in learning to honor your own unique individual expression of life force on this planet. How much do you really love your individuality? You know, how much do you really love who you are without, you know, the projections and thoughts and worries about other people? This is also the house of creativity. So for those of you who are creative souls, you might be feeling that the creative flow is blocked, or it's a hard labor to birth your creative endeavors into the world at this time with Saturn here. He will be asking you to put extra effort into what you are trying to create. So this is a time where you can find some illumination around this, and perhaps, you know, open yourself up to a new perspective. Perhaps something will have to be put aside and something new can be birthed. And this is also the house of, you know, this is a Leo house, so this is about fun, pleasure, joy. So this can be a time when you are just feeling more serious than usual, Virgo. So this moon can also highlight where you are blocking yourself from enjoying the pleasures and the fun of life. And this can be about romance and sexuality as well. So we can really see how we are self-sabotaging in these areas, or if we have been overindulging, if we've been going in the opposite direction, Saturn can bring us down back to Earth with a bit of a bump at this time. So on the 9th of July, Virgo, Venus will come into your sign. So this is a beautiful time of the year for you. It's always lovely and divine when the love goddess moves through our natal sign. So this can be a time of feeling and expressing the beauty of life. This can be a time where you feel a little bit more magnetic, a little bit more attractive. So this can be a little bit of a lift up after the heaviness of Saturn and the Capricorn full moon in your 5th house. You can start to kind of feel a little bit of lightness, a little bit of magnetism, a little bit of beauty returning back to your life. On the 10th of July, Jupiter is going to station direct in your 3rd house of communication and connection. Jupiter's been retrograde here since March, and he's been moving through this part of your birth chart since last autumn. So this has been really a time of highlighting those unconscious mental patterns that hold you back. This has been a time of you really looking at your connections. Again, we're looking at the energy of friendships and groups and networks here. And also the 3rd house rules over the throat chakra. It's the Gemini house. So this is a space of the birth chart where we have to really learn to speak our truth. So Jupiter and Scorpio here might have been really highlighting and amplifying all of your fears around really expressing yourself, really expressing your deep emotions. So as he stations direct here and, you know, begins to pick up speed as we move towards mid-July, this can be a time where you start to see the rewards for all the work you have done in learning how to use your voice. If you, like I said earlier, if you are a writer, a teacher, a speaker, this can be a time when more opportunities and blessings can come to you. If you've been having a hard time in connecting with people, if you've been having a hard time in your friendships, this is a time when things can start to ease up and you can start to see the deep lessons and the reasons behind all of the upheaval in these areas over the past couple of months, Virgo. So we're going to close this lunar month with a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Cancer in your 11th house. So this takes us back to the energy I described earlier as we talked about the summer solstice. This is a time of rebirthing and renewing your connections. This is a time of setting intentions to call forth a purpose, to call forth big dreams that really nourish your soul. Cancer is all about what feeds us, what nurtures us. The 11th house that is our big visions, our big ideas and ideals, as well as our friendships. So if these things aren't currently as you would like them to be, if these things aren't currently providing you with the sustenance that your soul is seeking, now is the time to make changes. We can see big changes happening here in friendship groups, big alterations. You know, perhaps the dream you've been chasing isn't the dream for you and you decide that you have to make a change or rework something. It's going to be sitting in opposition to Pluto in that 5th house, so we can see that self-love is going to be a huge part of this. You really need to only engage with those people and activities that love you for who you truly are, Virgo. So I picked a card for you for this month, and it's very interesting because this is the card that came up for Leo as well. So this is its 2nd appearance during these videos. And this is Scales of Balance, Ancient Tantra of the Soul. And this is from the Isis Oracle deck by Alana Fairchild. Beautiful, beautiful cards. And I decided to use these in honour of the sign of Cancer, the Great Mother. Isis is one of the great overlighting goddesses of our reality. And this card speaks to balance in our relationships, which is what we've been discussing through this whole video. So it's really important for you, Virgo, to have that equal connection, that equal balance and sharing over the coming cycle. And this is also about balancing the masculine and feminine within yourself. So balancing how much you're giving with how much you're receiving, balancing and healing sexual wounds as well, with Chiron in your 8th house, you know, being ignited by the planets moving through the sign of Cancer. There can be a deep healing of sexual wounding here as well. Perhaps you are having some remembrances of, you know, sacred sexuality in previous lifetimes. Perhaps there are things rising up around the sharing of intimacy in your subconscious that need to be healed and cleared at this time. But certainly finding a point of balance in all of your relationships, friendships, romance, your relationship with yourself, you know, that real strong self-love essence that we have been talking about as well. So a powerful card for a powerful time. I hope that you have enjoyed this reading, Virgo. Thank you for listening to me. If you would like to connect any further, you can join my Facebook group or like my Facebook page. The links are below. I'm sending you so much love for this incredible summer of energy shifts.